Chapter 15. Liaisons, Learning to Fly, Nivara's Avra. Kaya and Ree entered the commander's office. The room was small, but still garnered the effect that someone important was here. Many accommodations and medals lined the decorative shelves, along with numerous plaques along the walls. The commander sat behind the desk at the end, surrounded by the incredible view of the cityscape behind him. The city lights sparkled amid their dim surroundings. "Ladies, welcome," said the commander, his tall, thin form rising from his seat. "Please, sit down." He motioned for them to sit in the 2 chairs in front of his desk. Kaya nodded as they sat down before him in nervous anticipation. The commander turned around, looking out at the view below. "It has been brought to my attention that the IGA has neglected you two for some time now, on that remote planet, am I right?" Kaya nodded, looking down. "Yes," she replied. The commander turned to face them once again. "Events that even your father wasn't aware of, I'm afraid," he told her. Kaya's eyes cringed, but she held it together. At least her father was not one of the ones responsible. Maybe he just wasn't aware of what had happened. Or maybe he just doesn't care. Determination dared her to ask. "Is he here? Can I see him?" The commander sat down. "He is on a diplomatic mission right now," he replied, hoping to gather whatever help that can be given at this time. "However, the IGA has released your positions over to me at my request. Therefore, I am obligated at this time to give you 2 positions on our new flagship, the End Run. You will be promoted and serving as acting liaisons against our enemy, whom you have already encountered." Kaya's eyes grew wide. A loud groan escaped her cousin as Kaya turned to see Ree passed out in her chair. She glared at her cousin. "Well, it seems as if she's accepted it quite well," replied the commander. "Who is this enemy?" asked Kaya, ignoring her hopeless cousin. The commander closed his eyes. "A very good question," he replied. "One that I'm afraid has very few answers to it. We have had attacks on our patrols and freighters in the sectors near where you were. They seem to be coming from an area beyond the Kaplan Nebula, not too far from Earth." Kaya's eyes strained as she tried to figure out the enemy and their intent on her own. "I wasn't aware of any enemies of Altera in that vicinity," she confessed. "There isn't supposed to be anyone out there," he replied, "except the Earth, and they do not possess any capable spacecraft, as you are well aware of." Kaya blushed. Her whole career had ended on that lone piece of information. "So, no ideas?" The commander sighed. "Just ancient legends of old," he replied. "It appears we've turned into a race of superstitious beings. Yet there is nothing to confirm what we are dealing with, except what you've already encountered. I'll tell you what I can, but there isn't much, I'm afraid." "Anything is better than nothing at this point," muttered the commander. "We've already gone through a debriefing with the squad that rescued you. Unfortunately, there wasn't much their instruments could tell us." Kaya understood. Still, the lingering image of what she saw before leaving Earth still haunted her. Those gleaming eyes, the deteriorated skin. Nothing she had ever come across had given her such a chill before. The commander observed her reaction with interest. "I'll be looking forward to your report," he told her. "But for now, you've been assigned to temporary quarters. Your ship disembarks after the meeting later this morning. I expect full reports and a brief summary for the meeting from the 2 of you." "We'll get right on it," confirmed Kaya. The commander agreed, bowing his head. "Thank you, that is all for now," he replied. Kaya stood up. There was a lot of work to do in a short period of time. Everyone was anxious and waiting for the report of their encounter with the apparent enemy. Kaya smacked Ree on the shoulder. Ree popped her head up, looking around as if she did not know where she was. "Huh, what happened?" Kaya flushed. "Come on," she told her. "We've got work to do." The simulator machine rocked and rolled as Devon tried to keep control of the fighter at his command. Another blast caught his right side. The fighter wavered, but still maintained its control. After the first few seconds upon entering the simulator, Devin forgot about the test he was taking as the enemy ships came down upon him fast. He had just enough time to react before they bore down upon him with guns blazing. His mind tried to remember all the instructions Braum had given him, as half of his actions at the moment solely relied on luck and instinct. Fortunately, for him, the ship was not too difficult to control. However, flying was one thing. Learning to fight while you fly was a nightmare. "Come on, Devin," cried a voice in his earphones. "You can take these guys out." Devin gritted his teeth as he jerked the flight stick hard to the left. The ship spiked in that direction, dodging the oncoming fire. "What makes you think I can do that?" he asked, regaining some balance behind the enemy. The fighter teetered as he zipped through a group of enemy ships, trying to keep them off-balanced. He learned well enough to keep the majority in front of him, but Devin did not have the knack of checking his radar scope while continuing the dogfight. There just wasn't time. "Oh, quit your whining," replied Braum, as he watched from the flight deck of the simulator, impressed by the rookie's initial test flight. "There's only 20 of them. You took out those other 12 without any problems." The cockpit shook again as a light blinked to Devin's left, followed by an alarm. "Eject! Eject!" cried the machine voice. Devin maintained as much control as he could, veering his fighter toward the enemy ship ahead. It rolled to its left. Devin pulled as hard as he could on the controller, squeezing the trigger in the process. An array of green light shot at the target, obliterating it from his sight. The controller began to shake. The cockpit swirled out of control, but not before his ship collided with an oncoming enemy ship. The cockpit shuttered. A white light flashed, followed by a low rumbling sound. Then, all was dark. A few seconds later, the outer lights came on as the simulator began to lower itself back to the ground. The cockpit began to open along the way as Devin took off his helmet, breathing a sigh of relief. The look on his face showed the elation of what he had just been through. Never before had he experienced a ride like that. No roller coaster or flight simulator back home could have ever come close to something that exhilarating. A few technicians approached the machine as Braum stood out among the others, noticing the grin on Devin's face. "Not bad for a rookie," he told him. A surge of excitement raced through Devin's body. It electrified him to overcome something that had gripped his mind for a long time. But he remembered where he was. He wanted to play it cool like Braum, his memory flitting back to his high school days. As well liked as Devin was back then, he never considered himself a part of the popular crowd. He thought back to how they were and how they acted toward people outside their circle. "Well, complained Devin, the flight stick was sticking a little to the left. The laser fire was pretty slow as well. Guess it wasn't too bad given all that I had to deal with." Braum eyed him for a second. "Yeah, we'll have that looked at, hotshot," he replied with sarcasm. "Now get down here already." Devin chuckled as he picked himself up and leapt out of the simulator machine. The tech man standing next to Braum went over the stat information. Braum was reading along, amused by what he saw. Devin stepped up, curious to what they were doing. "So, how'd I do?" Braum lifted an eyebrow to peer at the one who was addressing him so casually. "I've seen better," he told him. "Your timing was a bit slow on that 5th wave." Devin sighed in defeat. He knew he should not expect any more praise from someone who did not know how to give what he received so much of. A smaller man came running toward the two as Braum turned to address him. He pushed his chest out and lowered his brow. The small man saluted Braum. Devin noticed a quake in his actions. What, does everyone think he's a god around here? "Sir, there is a meeting of the utmost urgency about to take place," announced the messenger. "The commander requires your presence, sir." Braum nodded firmly as the messenger saluted him once again. "Thank you, recruit," replied Braum. His voice was crisp, yet there was a hint of sincerity to it as well. "Let the commander know I will be there, along with my new wingman." The messenger nodded, saluting one last time before quickly running back the way he came. Devon began to feel like he was more than done with all the fun and games. Now was the time to get back to what he was supposed to be doing. "Well, guys, I've had a lot of fun," he said, handing his helmet to a technician. "I should be getting back to what I came for. I guess if you'll just point me—" Devon stopped. Braum turned to him, not realizing what he was saying. He eyed Devon with cautious suspicion. "And where do you think you're going?" he continued before Devon could reply. "I said me and my new wingman. You're coming too, rookie." Devon's mouth began to move, but nothing was coming out. Braum smiled. "Yes, I know, you're speechless," he added. "I was the same way the first time someone took me under their wing." Devon shook his head. "Wait a minute," he protested. "I didn't come here to become a fighter pilot. I need to find Kaya. I need her to help me find a way back home." Braum eyed Devon once again, this time with a look of urgency. It was a look Devon would never forget. "Listen," said Braum, his voice low. "Not everyone gets a Class B rating on their first try at the cockpit. For some reason, without any training whatsoever, you've outscored most of my pilots on a good day. Now, if this meeting is about what I think it is, you will want to come. Kaya will be there too. Just try and act cool and professional about it. Got it?" Devon stared at him. He was beginning to understand why Braum was such a big deal around here. He could tell the big man had his finger on the pulse of what was going on, and if he did not know, he knew how to get what he needed. Even if it was through sheer intimidation, Braum always got what he wanted. Now, he needed Devon. "All right," Devon replied, "but only until I get what I need out of this." Braum grinned. "Fair enough," he replied. Then his face grew dark as his character came out once again. "Follow me, rookie." Braum turned and headed for the doorway at the far end as Devon took to his side. It was apparent by the looks Braum was giving him out of the corner of his eyes that the big man was not used to someone walking side by side with him. Devon drummed up some conversation, hoping it would distract the ego for a minute or two. "So what do you think is going on?" Braum shook his head. "War," he told him. "If this threat is what I think it is, then there is no doubt that it is war we are heading for." Devon thought back to what Braum had told him earlier. More myths and legends? Braum did not look to him. They made their way to a small elevator at the end of the hallway. Braum's lips pulled in as he tried to formulate his thoughts. "All stories have to begin somewhere," he started. "Maybe, just maybe, something is truer than we think. Maybe a myth or a legend has some validity to it. Along the way, it may pick up some embellishments or ad-libs, but there are still some facts that remain. Some form of the true account may still exist, deeply embedded. In my world, such an enemy from this certain myth had a name. The elders called it Nivara's Avra." The elevator doors opened. Braum and Devon entered. "What does that mean?" Braum pressed the floor button as the doors began to close. "The Devil's Army."